I wonder if He-Man ever plays hockey. Here's your look at the Funko Savage World Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees. Welcome to your worst nightmares. Funko's Savage World line just got darker with Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th joining the ranks. This action figure is armed and ready to fight in your Savage World collection. Now, in case you are curious, I have looked at the Savage World Jason Voorhees before, but funny story, just recently I was cleaning out my storage, and I found sealed versions of both Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. So I decided, if anything, I mean, we've been on the kick lately of looking at Master Universe Origins figures, why not go back and have a look at the Savage World figures? If I can still find where I put the loose versions, the ones that we've already looked at, like Pinhead, Leatherface, and Michael Myers, then yes, probably follow-up reviews will be happening. In the meantime, though, let's go ahead and take the tape measure of mine and measure to the very top of Savage World Jason Voorhees. We're going to stop it right around there. If looking at this correctly, then Savage World Jason Voorhees is about 6 inches exactly. Switching that over to centimeters, the figure's 15.2 centimeters tall. Seeing as we are talking about Master Universe Origins figures, let's bring in a couple, just so you can see how Jason stacks up next to them. One thing, though, the Master Universe Origins figures have to their credit is they have some additional articulation, and they're a lot taller than Jason here. Probably would have made better sense to bring in some more vintage He-Man figures as a better comparison because, well, Jason's a little bit more based on the original vintage line, a lot less in the way of articulation, and a little bit more squat than what we're getting with the Origins stuff. The figure includes a couple of accessories. Starting first, a bone-made axe. Bone-made axe, why not? You can see some paint is pretty good on here. The head of the axe has also a couple of chipped and scratched in points there as well. So it's a nice looking axe. A little on the warp side though, admittingly. Probably could maybe put this in hot water and see if I can bend that back into place. And he also comes included with somewhat of a machete. It kind of comes across more like a sword than anything else. I would have maybe done away with the little bone piece right there. Yeah, that would have looked better, I think, as a machete. But still, some nice detailing done to the blade itself. A few little chipped away areas. It looks like it would be a really rough cut if he was going to be slicing up somebody. Oof, that looks painful. Really, again, nice detailing on it. Unfortunately, though, neither one of the accessories really stay in his hands very well. I guess the sword, machete fits in his hand just a little bit better. We'll go ahead and take both the weapons and fit them into his hand, starting first with the sword. And then we'll go ahead and do the exact same thing. The axe is the worst of the two. The machete, as you can see, it sits somewhat loosey-goosey. The axe, on the other hand, literally in the other hand, once you get it into his grip, which you have to kind of get the fingers out of the way. Get out of the way there, thumb. Once you get it in there, though, even though I'm struggling to get it into his grip, once it's in there, rest assured, it's very loose. I've also bent the thumb just a little bit. Oh, ouchie, that's got to hurt. Maybe actually having the thumb bent sort of works to the credit of having it held a little bit better. If you have the thumb, though, more relaxed, like that, you can see the axe barely stays in his hand. I guess I could probably just bring that up as far as I could. Maybe get the end of the bone. Even then, it's not the greatest. So that's what he looks like, at least with his weapons. I'm probably just going to likely display him with this. Part of me almost feels like I want to trim off the end bones, just the sides there of the guard, so it looks a little bit more like a machete. Let's go ahead and take the weapons out of his hands, put that to the side, and put this to the side. And we'll get a closer look at Jason Voorhees. Sort of an Eternian version of Jason, and you can imagine this is what he would look like. I think the last time we had a look at this figure, I was trying to come up with some clever name for what I would have called him other than just calling him Jason Voorhees. If you guys can certainly come up with some clever, interesting names for what you would name this character, sort of sticking with the idea of Master of the Universe, where usually like it's man-y faces or something clever like that. Can you come up with something clever for Jason? Let me know down below in the comments section. kind of having a tough time pinpointing what exactly his design is based from. There are elements to it that have a very Part 7 vibe to it. Specifically, you can see the chipped away mask there, showing some of Jason's rather gnarly looking teeth and jawbone. I like the fact that his ear looks really mangled. I'm not really sure what this is specifically. Is that the top of his cheekbone? I don't know. But I do like the fact his ear looks it looks like it's disintegrated or decayed. It's a decent looking mask. It's not removable, so it's part of his face. It's a very pale colored figure. And then, of course, when you've got an even more paler mask on top of it, with what I might also say one of the largest chevrons I've ever seen on a Jason mask. That is crazy and ridiculous. In a way, it kind of reminds me of the character from Splatterhouse. Like I said, he is short in his proportions and his build. His outfit, well, it's interesting. It's got like a belt bandolier across the front and sort of ripped in such a way. It kind of reminds me again, Part 7 Jason, though the coloring on it is all the more greens. I guess they wanted to keep with the more swamp motif of keeping his costume in greens. He's got the darker greens there at the lower parts of his legs, his boots, and of course the top of his top, what's left of it at least, is all green. It even kind of looks like the way that he's got the loincloth down below. It looks like one big giant leaf. I probably would have maybe even changed the coloring on this guy, given him a blue instead of green. That's just my own personal preference than anything else. I do think the coloring works pretty good if you have like that vintage looking Jason. The neat thing about these Savage World figures, and when I initially picked them up, the appeal that was going for them was that when you're looking at them, they look like a toy that you would have had in the 80s. I only wish I could have had a Jason Voorhees figure look like that in the 80s. Paint is, like I said, pretty good on it. You got a chain there that's on the front that's actually molded to his belt, so you can't remove that or anything like that. A couple of little gauntlet bracelets there also on the side. And again, that rib cage on the back gives me very much that vibe of Friday the 13th Part 7 Jason. For the figure's articulation, it's very limited, so it won't take very long at all. I mean, if you had to go to the washroom, you could probably even hold it for the time being. I guess now that I've said it, I probably should do this rather quickly. His head is on a swivel, so it does rotate all the way around. It does get a little hung up, though, so it really should only go this way and this way. Arms rotate all the way around. Right now, that person's doing a pee-pee dance in the hallway. Hold on. We're almost there. Arms rotate all the way around. He has a swivel in the waist, so that rotates also all the way around. And then when it comes to his legs, the legs are the only thing where he has some additional posability going for him. Not only can you widen the stance of the figure's legs, but you can also bring them forward and back as well. Nice looking figure. I mean, again, it was a more pleasant surprise than anything else. Okay, you can go to the bathroom. One of the pleasant surprise actually of going through my storage locker. I mean, sometimes it's nice to go back to a storage room that you're not used to going back to, because while you're looking for one thing, which I can't even remember now what it was I was looking for, sure enough, behind a couple of boxes, I noticed these packages. I pulled them out, and sure enough, it was the Savage World Jason Voorhees, and along with that was also the Freddy Krueger, which I might even just keep and do as a separate review. And if I can then find the loose figures of Pinhead, Leatherface, and Michael Myers, I'm pretty sure I'll be going back to Savage World sometime soon. A bit simple, a bit crude, but still a pretty cool looking Jason Voorhees. Especially if you still have the original vintage Master Universe figures that these figures would work well with. They were a little bit more difficult to be put on display with the Origins figures, and actually that was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw these in packaging. Actually, that's the second thing I thought of. The first thing I thought of was, woo! Second thing I thought of, though, was, man, I would kind of like to put my Jason Voorhees on display with my Origins figures, but unfortunately the Origins figures have improved articulation and they're a lot taller, too. These figures, I think, really fit better with the more vintage line, which unfortunately I don't have anymore in my collection. I would be definitely interested to see if I can find where I put those other figures, the Leatherface, the Pinhead, and the Michael Myers. Michael Myers, I remember being the one I liked the most out of this entire set. If I can certainly find where I put those figures, loose or otherwise, definitely, yeah, I could maybe see myself going back and re-reviewing these. There's an appeal I find going for them. Savage World isn't just starting and stopping with the horror stuff. They've done a whole bunch of things like, I think, Thundercats and DC and stuff like that. But the thing that introduced me to Savage World was the horror characters. I mean, you can see there's 5 of them on the back. Now, even though these are older sets, funny enough, while I was doing some research on these, I was checking online, and there's some sites that are advertising pre-orders on these for October 2021, and that's coming up. That's not like, I don't think that's a typo. So I would imagine that they're probably going to be re-releasing these. And, you know, if they have the licensing and they have the molds available, why not? Funko, I don't think, is doing wrong by re-releasing these, especially for the people that didn't get the chance to pick these up the first time around. Jason Voorhees crudely holds his weapons in hand. In some cases, like the axe, he barely holds onto it. The coloring is something also I probably would have changed the character, either giving him the blue or probably maybe even a gray. I think the gray would have worked really, really well instead of going with the green. But nonetheless, as you certainly are looking at a more savage-looking Jason Voorhees, he's a great-looking figure, and I'm really happy the fact that I was able to find him and Freddy Krueger. Did you guys manage to pick up any of these for yourself at the time that they were first being released? If you have, let me know down below in the comments section. And also, if you guys wanted to go back and check my earlier reviews of the first time we looked at these Savage World figures, you should be able to find it here on this channel. Apologies in advance, though. I don't know how rough those videos are going to look. But if I can certainly find these figures between now and, well, I guess whenever those videos will be coming up. Yes, videos will be coming if I can certainly find the rest of these Savage World figures. If you are new to this channel, enjoying all the content you're seeing, thrilled also for the fact that we found ourselves some Savage World figures sealed. I wasn't expecting that at all. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, turn the bell notification on, and make sure that you're keeping your peepers peeled to this channel, because there will in fact be more reviews. Savage World? Leave it with me. I'm going to see if I can find it, but there definitely will be more videos lined up and coming your way. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.